There you
Oh
go. We
dear.
shouldn't have started the show until we heard the lady sing.
And she sings beautifully, and she should learn another song. But for now, we're going to stick with the one she knows.
I like the one she knows. Mikey, it's Thursday. People are not used to seeing us on Thursday, but here we are this morning, live in living color on a free ticket Thursday.
It's going to look a free ticket Thursday.
Free ticket Thursday.
I got my free ticket before we even sat down. I said, "Did you get your free ticket?" And I said, "No, it must be Thursday," and I got my free ticket.
Everybody who listens today gets a free ticket. We'll just leave your email address up there in the comments, and we will send you your free ticket by email. It's not good for anything. It's just free.
Well, people do ask, what can I do with this free ticket? And the list of things that you can do with it is infinite. You can do anything you want with it. What you
Yeah.
can't do is use it to get into a show or any kind of an event.
My father used to tell me what I could do with a lot of things, and that's just about what you could do with it.
In fact, sometimes he would give you the option. Vinny, do you want to hear what you can do with it?
Nah, I know
Or do
already,
you
pops.
or should we pass on that one?
I know what I can do with it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You have a good day. I'm going to school.
Well, in case you think that New York Vinny is the only child of New York City named Vincent, there was another one who went to Fordham University and got a pretty damn good job for a 22-year-old kid doing
Yeah,
play-by-play with Red Baba for the Brooklyn Dodgers. And we're talking about another Vin.
yeah, Vince Scully, Vincent Scully, who went to Fordham Prep, and then Fordham and graduated and went down to where were we? I think it was on Pierpont Street, were the offices of the Brooklyn Dodgers, and said, "I'd like to
Whoa.
broadcast your games." And somebody there said to him, "Well, you know what? You look like the kind of guy that we could get for as cheaply as possible."
What are you doing for the next 67 years?
Yeah, you got anything on your calendar for the next 67 years? And what do you think of Venice Beach? And
Tell me about
he said,
baseball. Do you like baseball? Oh yeah, I do. I'm a Giants fan.
well, you know, I don't. He probably didn't say that in the.
Not if he's too smart for that.
Yeah, he probably didn't say that in the thing. Yeah, he probably had enough on the ball. If he went to Fordham Prep and Fordham, he probably had enough on the ball where he said, uh-uh. And
No,
then, of course, you had in those days, you had Scully talking to O'Malley. You know,
what
it's
are you going
how
to
it
do?
works.
These guys are slightly Irish.
I'm going to give a lunchman, a job. So, he sat down at the microphone next to Red Barber, as you said, and never got up for 6 or 7 years. But it
And
wasn't just, as we all know, and I'm stating the obvious here, it was not just the longevity of Vince Scully that, made him what he was. It was the way it was the use of what he learned in school.
yeah, he actually
Language.
remembered what he learned.
Yeah,
Yes.
language. And how he used it to literally, literally paint a picture of what was going on the field.
And Vinny, there was an element of gambling too. Who knew when the Dodgers moved to LA what there was going to be? I mean, we right now say, well, my God, it's a gold mine. You're going to be printing money for the rest of your life. But at that time, the great people of LA had minor league baseball. They didn't know anybody on the Dodgers. They maybe heard about Jackie Robinson. Maybe they knew about Pee Wee Reese. Maybe they knew about Johnny Padres from the old days in Brooklyn. But they certainly didn't know about the play-by-play guy, and that could have been anybody. It could have been anybody coming to LA to take up what was the number one radio market in the world. And
Well,
bingo, just think of the chances. It could have gone either way.
yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think in my reading of the history of it, it seemed like LA was hungry for a major league team that you could have, just gone there and, basically just opened up the gates, which is pretty much what they did. And
For $3 million a year. Yeah.
people would have gone,
Yeah.
because it was because there were so many people at that time in Los Angeles and San Francisco to a certain degree, but really in Los Angeles that were from back east that had gone out there because of the movie industry, the
Yeah.
aircraft industry, and all the other industries that were out there. That there would have been, and this is just me thinking this. I don't have anything to back it up, so go look it up. But O'Malley has hedged his bets. He got all the land he could out of the deal to build Dodger Stadium on, to make
He,
sure that one day he would be able to put
that's
up,
another
if he wanted
story.
to put up
Right.
skyscrapers or whatever over there, that he would be able to do it in Chavez Ravine. And, it was a winner. I mean,
One good move that the Dodgers made when they came to town is they sent their broadcast rights to the most powerful AM station in town. I could hear KFI in San Francisco, and when the sun went down, you could hear Vin Scully calling the Dodger games. He had all of Southern California, and I mean everything from Santa Barbara to the Mexican border in his sites. You could just turn on any transistor radio in any spot in those 10 counties and have welcome to Dodger baseball. It's time for Dodger baseball.
and before he got to the West Coast, you had a similar situation in New York, where he was, I believe, the Dodgers at that time were on WABC.
Wow.
And so you had another 50,000-watt clear channel signal that carried all the way almost to the Mississippi River. So millions of people on the East Coast heard the Dodgers. It's one of the things that made them as popular a team as they were, even though they were the Brooklyn Dodgers, and there was, the legend and the lore and everything. And they eventually had the stars. You had that great combination on the East Coast of a team that had great stars that was battling it out with a crosstown rival almost every year. And on the most powerful stick, well, one of the most powerful sticks on the East Coast. You didn't need a radio network back then. All you needed was a blowtorch.
God, that's so right.
And
And it shows you how much radio had to do with the success of baseball.
oh, I contend to this day, that the sport should never, no matter where radio goes in its life, should never give up radio. Because it's the one thing, if every major league club has to buy a radio station and put their games on it
So be it.
and have somebody, two guys sitting in the booth doing the games, they should never give up on it. And Vince Scully was, along with Red Barber, Mel Allen, all of these guys that broadcast these games on these huge radio stations were known up and down the coast. You could, if you had to go to Florida during the summer, which who the hell would do that? But if you did, you carried Vince Scully with you on the trip down Route 1. Back then,
That's
you
right.
didn't go down I-95.
I remember Mel Allen's cigar commercials for White Owl. I remember Vin Scully's Terratin commercials. He was blowing the smoke rings at Dodger Stadium with Terratins.
It was, it was a great time. It was a great time for baseball, and he caught it. I mean, you talk about catching it at the right time. Vince Scully caught it at the right time. He
You
caught
know,
it,
it's
he caught it in that space where radio was king, baseball was expanding to the West Coast. The pastime was still far and away the number one sport in America.
and
Football, hockey, basketball couldn't even come close to
when
it.
the Dodgers came to town with a bunch of black stars, a bunch of Latin American stars, a bunch of white guys that could still play baseball, and they really captured the hearts of the varied population in LA. And there's still so the Latin following, the Latin American following of the Dodgers in LA is just something to observe. I mean, it is wall to wall.
Yeah, and to focus on Vin and what he accomplished is he had the combination of, as we said, the great ability to weave the English language, the proper and correct English language, and the action on the field. It wasn't about stats, although he always told you the score. It wasn't about launch angle. It wasn't about bat speed. It was about describing the beauty, the eloquence, and the story of the game, and relating it to people in a way that they could understand.
He was a showman. He was a baseball guy, of course, that goes without saying, but he had great pipes. He had a great gift, a distinctive and remarkably recognizable voice. You couldn't get two words out of his mouth to say, that's Vin Scully.
Yeah, he really had that ability, well, no ability, that gift, as you said,
Yeah.
that his voice was distinct. And in radio, as we know,
It helps.
having something that pops out of the speaker differently than most of the other voices you hear on the speaker is fantastic. I mean, it's what they want. It's made my career. To sound different when you come out of that speaker and people go, "Oh, that's
That's Kansas City Vinnie. No, that's not Kansas City Vinnie.
yeah,
It's New
that's
York
Vin
Vinnie.
Scully." There's no mistaking as you're driving down the road, as you're turning the dial on your AM radio, and you get it. What was it? What was KFI 560?
640.
640. When you go over to 640 and you hear the voice, you know that that's it. You don't have to look at the dial. You don't have to
Uh,
do anything.
you're there.
All you got to do, if you don't have it on your punch buttons, all you got to do is slide the dial down slow enough that you hear the voice, and you could tune your radio to Vince Scully's voice.
Even after he retired in 2016, they used one part of his voice in the Dodger broadcast every night that they did the show. And it was the first line, "Welcome to Dodger baseball." That's all he said.
Yeah,
He didn't say, "Hi, it's Vin Scully. I'm wishing you a great game. Let's go out and beat St. Louis." No. They just had that one recording, and that's the only part they used. I don't know if it was contractual. I'm sure they had to pay him for it, but I don't know how they came to decide that's the one piece they were going to keep. And it's the one piece that every kid in town can tell you about it. What does Vin Scully say before the game?
welcome to Dodger baseball.
There you go.
Only he says it a lot better.
You know, you mentioned two guys in the booth. It's something that came to mind. Vin didn't have an analyst sit with him. He didn't have a guy sitting next to him that would say, "That's right, Vinny. That if that ball had gotten through, it would have gone rolled to the fence." He didn't need that guy. And there was another great LA broadcaster who did the Lakers for over 40 years, Chick Hearn,
Chicky.
who also did not like to have an analyst with him in the radio booth, but he had Stu Hearn, call it Chicken Stew, Stu, his assistant, whatever it was. I can't remember his last name. Forgive me. He was a player, ex-player, and Chick would not give the damn mic to poor Stu. He'd just take a big breath and talk all the way through to the next play. They didn't want to stop their flow to let another voice in. And it's not ego. It's just, here's the way I do it. I don't need that other thing. It gets in the way of my timing.
Right. I'm a radio guy. This is my show. My show is 4 hours a night or 3 hours a night back in those days, 2.5 hours
Okay.
of Dodger baseball, of Laker basketball, of football. Football's a lot harder to do like that because you have to have somebody spotting and keeping an eye on things for
Too
you.
much going on at once. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Baseball lends itself so much to description, as you know. Baseball is the game that can be described to you.
Right. Yeah, because it's slow, and you also in baseball, you can't just be a downs and yardage announcer. When somebody's getting blown out 20-5, you got to be able to start weaving stories.
You better know something about next week.
You better know something about the as I used to love it in spring training when Dave Niehaus would start to talk about the when we go to Tucson. He'd look out, and the stadium at that time in Tucson would look out at the Santa Catalina Mountains,
Mhm.
and Dave would just weave this beautiful story of how the spring clouds would be wafting over the Santa Catalina Mountains. And I
There's some
mean, you didn't. It didn't matter what the score was at that point. It was Dave talking about the Santa Catalina Mountains and the environment, and it made you want to get up and go to spring training. It
it
made you
also
want to see
such a
what.
good example. Guys with the history and the innate talent that Dave had, that Vin had, they know when there's nothing going on, and they know how to make something out of it. They know how to weave a story into the situation. They remember something that's funny, something that's sad, something that's poignant, something about the kid's mother.
Right.
They'll remember that stuff, and that's because they are over prepared every game. They got stuff that they don't use today that would have been a whole show had they put it together properly. But that's for tomorrow. Tomorrow we got to prepare again and be ready for the next game.
Ron Fairley used to keep a notebook. He had a a school book
Write it
notebook
down or you forget it.
that he would write things down in, and most of them were baseball things. I mean, this was before really computers came into play, but also there was a section in there with stories and things that he had learned, things that he had talked to other people about that he had actually shortened down and could get to. Now, Ron, of course, was much more of a color guy than a play-by-play guy, but the way he was able to weave stories with Dave and work together was great. And Vin, Vin did the same thing. Well, I don't know if he wrote things down. I have a feeling. I mean, I met him once. I was in awe. I was standing. It was. I forget. Maybe it was Dave. I forget where we were, but we were. I mean, I forget who was there, but a couple of baseball people were talking, and I just, this is where you say, "Hi, my name is Vincent," also, and that's it. Nice to meet you.
Well, Dave Niehaus and Vin were both on the air in Los Angeles doing LA baseball.
Yeah, opposite each other.
Yep.
Dave with the Angels and Vin with the Dodgers, and it was just an amazing time for baseball. And this man and some of the things that he would weave into. I don't know if you heard I put it on Facebook. There was our old friend Ronnie Brand sent me a clip of Vin at Oracle. What do they call it this week? Oracle Park. Talking about the talking about how he fell in love with baseball, and I'm going to see if I can find it here because it really is uh, worth worth playing. I think MLB put it up on their site. Uh, and it was so Vin Scully,
Of course.
so so just wonderful. And it might take me a second here.
Well, then Scully ended up in Ken Levine's column. I don't know if you read it.
No, I didn't.
Ken Levine's our pal. Of course, he helped with the Dodger broadcasts over many seasons, and of course was a Mariners play-by-play. And I always give him credit for scouring the minor leagues for as long as he did because he knew what he wanted to do and he managed to get to the bigs. But in Ken Levine's column, he talks about a live broadcast on channel, I guess it was channel 11, back to LA from San Francisco's Candlestick Park. And it was 10 o'clock at night. And Vinny, you've seen the fog roll in over the top of Candlestick Park. Excuse me. And It didn't go away this time. It just sat on the field and they had to call the game. They suspended play for a while, and we're live on Channel 11. And Vin Scully, off the top of his head, tells famous Giants Dodger stories until the fog blows away. And they probably had a bigger rating for that, showing the fog on the field and then couldn't turn around the camera to show Vinnie in the booth. And he just kept telling stories about Giants and Dodgers and the extraordinary rivalry between them until the field cleared, and then the real Giants and Dodgers would come back. It's no irony that Vin Scully's death was announced during a Giants Dodger game. And can you believe that?
That's the point with this story that I really want to try to bring across is the symmetry
Yeah.
of everything. There's a symmetry that goes on in the game of baseball that is like no other game. I've never ever seen a game where everything that goes on in the game, not everything, it's overstating it a bit, but the things that go on in the game are unbelievably linked all the time, unbelievably set up with each other.
That's why when you walk a man with nobody out, everyone goes, "Oh God, that's not going to be good.
Yeah, yeah,
That's not good."
it's it's just an incredible I don't know what you would call it.
It's a balance.
Yeah, it's just a really Mario Cuomo once said it was a spiritual game.
Hmm.
It was perfect. It was designed perfectly. It had it had no boundaries, and this was the older when baseball first came along. It had no boundaries, but yet the way you scored was a definite boundary. There were 60 feet 6 inches to the from the mound to the plate, 90 feet between the bases. You had to earn your way onto the bases either by getting a hit or by outfoxing the pitcher. You had to learn. He just went into this whole. It was in Ken Burns' baseball documentary, but he just was able to, and Vin could describe that.
Yeah.
He had the perfect way of describing those kind of symmetrical events. Listen here as he talks about what made him a baseball fan. Come on now. Okay.
Kid was walking home from school, went by a Chinese laundry, and
Can you hear
I'll
that
tell
okay?
you the rest of the story, but let's get back to the game. Well, we'll talk about the redheaded kid in a minute, but right now, another redheaded kid is getting into the box. Justin Turner, followed by Seager and Puig. So you can see how the game is so constructed for you. I'm telling about a little redhead, and here's Turner. Remarkable production. And the first pitch to Justin way inside, ball one. Yeah, the little kid, not quite 9, 8 3/4, leaving grammar school on his way home. And I went by a Chinese laundry. That's way outside. 2 balls and no strikes. And the line score of a baseball game was pasted on the window. And it showed game 2 of the World Series with the Yankees beating the Giants 18-4 as Turner fouls the ball back. Yeah, there it was, game 2. Imagine a reserve seat cost $5. Well, anyway, as that little redheaded kid looked and saw, oh wow, the poor Giants. That was my reaction. And so I became not only a Giants fan, but a big fan of baseball. And I was able to exercise my instinct. The pitch to Turner is away, 2-1, because my school was less than 20 blocks to the old Polo Grounds, where the New York Giants played. And because I was a member of the Police Athletic League Catholic Youth Organization, I could game free from Monday to Friday. We got out of school at 2:30. The Giant games were 3:15. And so I could go to the ball game. And so I just fell in love with baseball. Most of the time I was in center field. Now, center field in the Polo Grounds was 483 feet away as Turner strikes out, 1 down. So I would sit in the bleachers and I would cheer and I would watch, and I just loved the Giants. Well, the point of the whole story is this. My first love was October the 2nd, 1936. Second game of the World Series. Today is October the 2nd, 2016. A lot of time has gone by. Exactly 80 years to the minute from that day that I looked at the line score of the World Series. So when I looked at the schedule and I knew I was going to retire, I thought, I have to do that game. It was as if it was ordained that I would do this game.
Ordained.
Ordained. See, he worked the Catholic school in there.
Apparently, he went to mass even on Sundays of game days.
Well, I don't know if I'm sure you remember this, but they used to have mass in the ballpark.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they used to have. I remember Candlestick. They had it. If you got there on Sunday morning, there was a Catholic priest who would come in, and they had a room set up, and he would say mass in the ballpark. They also had it at the Kingdome and at Safeco.
Well, I don't know if they
still do it.
Well, God, if any team needs it, it's the Giants. If nobody tried everything else, please, if you can get a couple priests in there to go over the place one more time and just look for bugs. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. We got swept again by the Dodgers, by the way.
Yeah, the thing I loved about that clip, Mikey, was that
he called the game and told the story.
Not only that, but it wasn't, well, it's a high slider, it's a low, I mean, yeah. Nowadays, we have all the exit velo and the stats and this and that. But when Vin called the game, he didn't use every description of every pitch. But yet,
outside ball two is all you need to know.
Yeah, that's really what you need to know. You don't need to sit there and tell nowadays in this information age that we live in, you have to, you have to turn on your computer and you have to have the, the StatCast that shows you exactly where it was and this and that. But in Vin's day, it was much more interesting to hear him paint the picture of the game, the fandom that he had, the way he moved from first person to third person in his story,
right?
Which I think was phenomenal. Not many people can do it like that and make it work.
Make the redhead kid strike out. Turner's going to have to bill him for that one,
right? And there's two, there's two redheaded kids. The
right.
Whole symmetry of the time. And yet you still know that Turner, the redheaded kid, struck out. Just as if you would have been watching StatCast.
And if you belong to the right Catholic club, Tuesday through Thursday, you get free tickets to the Giants.
Well, yeah. Well, they didn't do it. They used to do it in Yankee Stadium, I think, also. I don't know if they did it in Brooklyn because the capacity of Brooklyn was much smaller.
Right.
Than Yankee Stadium. I mean, don't forget, the Polo Grounds held almost 70,000 people, I believe.
I thought more than that, but with the seating configuration, who knows?
I think I think you could fit 70,000 in there, and then you had Yankee Stadium, which was 65 to 70,000. I forget the exact number, and so when maybe Cleveland was coming to town or something like that, maybe you wanted to give away free tickets. Let the kids in.
Let them in.
Let the house a little bit.
Tell them to be loud.
Don't be loud. Make it, sit them under the radio microphones. Let it make it sound like it's a party.
Send them behind the visiting dugout.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you had a lot of kids that would go. I remember they didn't do it through the CYO, but they used to have the midget Mets for in Shea Stadium, and if you brought 10 um, coupons off of a Dairy Lee milk carton, you get in for free.
Wow.
So when we wanted to go to a game, we go up to the Wallbaum supermarket, and in the morning they would deliver the milk, and it'd be all sitting out on the sidewalk. Go, cut out 10 coupons out of
Here
the
we go, going to the game.
go to the game today, and then walk to Shea Stadium, which was a mile from where I grew up.
So who's this guy JD Davis from the Mets that we just got for Darren Huff?
I think he's you know something.
He's on the Giants now. They gave him a number and a hat and everything, so he's
Yeah,
gonna
he's
play.
something. Yeah, yeah. Let's move over. We'll move over to the trades. He was one of those guys you'd stick in there. I mean, he looked like I remember. I mean, I didn't see him all that much, to be honest with you. I remember him making some good plays. He got a couple of key hits down. But it seems to me he didn't have a place in the Mets lineup.
Well, Evan Longoria, our old third baseman, has been in and out of the lineup so many times this year, I can't tell you. And we've struggled to find someone to take his place because of his bat. And so JD Davis is going to have an opportunity to play. I don't think he's going to sit.
Oh yeah, no, he'll play. I mean, I think he's one of those guys that he's a great bench guy, but if you give him the opportunity to go out there every day, that he's going to get. He's not a great powerful guy. He's not going to probably give you power numbers out of that power corner. That you expect to get big numbers out of, big power out of. But
He better.
if he plays the position adequately and you give him a chance every day, he could turn into something.
You Mets fans are going to like Darren Ruff. He's the big guy from San Francisco that's coming. He played left field and first base, and he's as powerful as he looks. He looks like a tight end. Doesn't look like a baseball player. He looks like a big kid in a baseball suit. And he does have power. It was a team favorite. Fans loved him. So Mets fans, I think you got a good deal there. And he came to play, and he got his game together playing in the Korean leagues, and then came back.
Well, it's interesting to take a look at Darren Ruff. He's a guy that probably would not have been traded to the Mets any other year except this one in the past, because he looks to be a big designated hitter.
Right.
And as we know, we had no use for those in the National League up until this year. You got to play your position. But what the National League teams have done, is used the designated hitter in an interesting way, in that they use it as a rest position.
Yeah.
Mostly in American League, you got used to the idea that the guy was a DH and that's it.
Right.
That's what you do. You're a DH. You go out there and you DH. It seems to me, from what I've seen so far in the National League, they use it much more as a rotating position.
And
All
also,
right, I don't want to give you a blow today, so Ruff, you go out, you play first today, and you sit down. A regular for it, and they move things around like that.
also they'll put together two line drive hitters in the lineup, and one of them a DH, as opposed to looking only for the obvious, most powerful hitter that you have.
Now, has there been any
Here we go. Here we go.
any reaction to JD Davis's tweet from 2012?
What did he say?
Basically said, I'm a fan of any team facing the Giants.
Oh,
He's a longtime Giants hater. He labeled himself according to the New York Post, who else would dig this up, in which he labeled himself as a diehard Giants hater and claimed he was a fan of any team facing the Giants.
Well,
Now,
that puts him in a slightly awkward position, but San Francisco loves contrarians. So
right.
maybe if he plays these cards right, he could become a fan favorite. All we need somebody to do is figure out how to win a game.
You're always a fan of the people who are signing your checks.
You sure are.
And Davis's condemnation toward his new team comes from his Dodgers fandom while growing up in California.
Well, he's lucky to be back.
So
Another guy that we liked in San Francisco that now is playing in your town is the catcher, Kurt Casale. I think you'll like him.
yeah, from what I understand, Kurt Casale is a local kid. I'm not 100% sure of his pedigree or anything like that. I don't know much about him, to be honest with you.
He's been off and on. He's been our number one. They tried Joey Bart to be the number one catcher. He wasn't quite ready for the majors. He's back now, but he did a lot of filling in during the last year of Buster Posey, and became a champion at handling the pitchers. I think the Mariners are going to like this kid.
Well, I think they'll want listen. They have a good catcher, but they got to give this guy a blow.
Yeah.
I mean, he's catching a gazillion games. It just doesn't seem like I mean, they haven't found the new Dan Wilson quite yet.
There's no left-hand, right-hand guy receiving team. Most teams don't carry that many catchers anymore.
No, I mean, in the old days, you used to have I always say, in the old days, you had, guys that were catcher, first baseman.
Or two catchers and somebody in the bullpen.
Yeah, or catcher, third baseman, like Joe Torre.
Yeah.
Was a catcher and a third baseman.
No, Yogi Berra, catcher, right fielder.
But now you have it just made me think I saw Yogi once in right field.
I did too.
Legs.
I saw him playing the Angels, and they weren't laughing after he hit that home run to right field in Dodger Stadium.
Oh my God. Anyway,
who's that can of corn out in right field? That's Yogi Berra. That's Yogi Berra? Well, he can't play ball. Hold on. It's a long game.
It's yeah, so they have a guy, Cal Raleigh. Great name, great baseball name. And he is he's got some pop. Maybe not as much as they'd like, but he's got some pop. But they're killing him. They're playing him all the time. I mean, he's catching like every game.
That's like that's the sideline conversation in NFL films when the coach of Cleveland is saying, "They're killing me, Whitey. They're killing me out there."
So they go and get Casale.
Kurt Casale.
Kurt Casale, and they brought another guy over too, who I believe is
Trevor
the
Rosenthal?
University of Washington. So it'll be interesting to see this nice debut. You see, this is what's wrong with baseball. So I'm reading an article, and I know it's the lookout landing, and the kids today, but I'm looking for. So the Giants have an insurance policy in case Bart, currently carrying an 84 WRC plus with a 42% K rate.
Well, yeah. What the hell does that mean?
Tough.
He strikes out 42% of the time.
Yeah, I figured that, but
and so the other number doesn't matter. Lead with that one.
Yeah,
he strikes out too often.
Yeah,
he doesn't put the ball in. He doesn't get enough hits. That's the problem. He can catch. He can't hit. Not yet.
Yeah. Well, I guess it means a lot to some people. Not much to to many people. I don't know. I'm listen. I love it anytime. Anytime you see you know, a guy with a good Italian last name like Casali. A catcher with an Italian last name.
Somebody who knows how to
Berra.
eat. He knows how to eat in North Beach. Okay, let's go
Yeah,
with
like
Casale.
Berra, like Piazza. Not Casali.
Like Teddy Randazzo.
Exactly. Show me what you got. So, yeah, Matthew Boyd is the other guy that they got in the deal.
Pitcher.
Tommy Malone has been released to get him, and you guys got another catcher, Andy Thomas, and Michael Strifeller.
We did a little. Yes,
Didn't Michael Strifeller used to be with the association?
close. No,
He was the guy that used to stand next to Larry Ramos.
perhaps.
Maybe. Well, um, yeah. So the Mariners needed a backup catcher. They got one. Um, their newly acquired pitcher went out and pitched a gem yesterday in Yankee Stadium. So
Good job.
they go 1-3 with the Astros, but 2-1 with the Yankees.
That's how you stay in the game.
And so, for all of those that were giving up the Mariners for dead last Monday, now there's going to be excitement in town again for this team when they come home. They get the day off tomorrow, and then they'll have the Angels in for a set this weekend.
Talk about excitement. How would you like to be 18 and a half out of first place? That's where I am. That's where I'm sitting right now. And that's only because we haven't played the game yet today. We'll get to 19 and a half. Don't you worry.
They got him right where they want him, Mikey.
Yeah.
Right where they want him, right? That's what I mean. That's what I would.
It's 0-2. We got them right where we want them.
How about we haven't talked much about the Padres. Good gosh, what the heck is
I don't like the Padres. I've never liked the Padres. I've never liked their uniforms. And I love San Diego. It's not that. It's just team. It doesn't do it. It's never done anything for me, and I don't like them. And I don't think that this is going to turn out to be good for them. They've always managed to get just enough injuries and losses to make the difference. It's not that I'm rooting for LA. That's not the case.
right? But you have to. I mean, you have to at the very least give them a lot. I mean, they pulled off the deal that nobody thought was going to happen. I mean, did you hear the Padres really mentioned in the talk about Soto?
No, strangely enough, I heard the Giants mentioned, and the Giants determined long ago. The Giants came to the conclusion we don't have enough talent to get him. Well, even if you give it all away, nope, we just don't have the guys. Well, what are you doing in the National League? You should be playing AAA out of Sacramento.
Exactly.
Don't tell me you can't play ball because you haven't got the guys. You have general managers. You have more guys in the front office than anybody. Get that front office working. And right now, that front office does not work.
And yeah, it was just really kind of incredible to see them pull that incredible trade off. That I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure that.
They sent a lot of talent.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the Mariners should have made that trade. What they would have had to see. I'm not completely. Many people up here are unsold on Jared Kelenic, the outfielder who they got from the Mets.
They don't think he's producing enough. They don't think he's producing well enough.
Well, he's been up and down. He's struggled. He's probably, they probably brought him up too fast. They probably should have left him down in the minors. Although I forget how everything was working out with the, but he seemed to be somewhat overwhelmed when he got up here, and has gone back down to Tacoma, back and forth. He hit a home run in Yankee Stadium yesterday, so he said, "Thank you for trading me New York."
Yeah, here's a little something.
Yeah, here's a little something that we can.
A token of my esteem.
Now I'm trying to see, was it yesterday that yes, our guy Daniel Vogelbach,
Oh yeah.
the Babe, as his nickname is, popped the grand slam yesterday
Wow.
for your New York Mets. So they're loving this guy in New York, man.
Thank
He's just he's gonna have. I mean, he's the kind of guy that comes to a team. Maybe he lasts a year or two, but he's just he-
this is the big kid you like because he looks like a refrigerator.
yeah, he's just huge, man.
He's my man. What number does he wear?
Absolutely huge, right? He's my man. He's the Babe.
What
So
number
the
does
uh, the former Pirate will and former Cubs draft pick. I think we'll have a fun time in New York.
Do you know what number he wears?
Oh man, no,
What
not
was-
off the top of my head.
We'll figure it out.
Probably not 3. Oh,
I don't-
32.
32. Excellent. Okay.
32. 32.
Hit the damn thing out of the park. That's all I ask.
John Matlack's number, if I'm correct. Yeah, I think Matlack was 32. Rookie of the year in 1972 or 73, and helped pitch the Mets along with Kuzman and Seaver to the World Series that year against the feared and dreaded Oakland Pathetics.
I remember days when pitching and power were things that I talked about in regards to my team, but it ain't that way right now. We have neither one. Which don't you have? Well, we don't have pitching. What about
Well,
that power part? No, we don't have that either.
to be fair, though, Michael, I mean, the Giants have been pretty successful. They're going to have some off years. I mean, it's still a team. They did make it to the playoffs last year, right? The way baseball is going, they probably could make it this year. I mean,
All I-
you have off years.
Vinny, I want you to be right. I want you to be right more than
I was
anybody.
trying to make you feel good.
But I don't.
Trying to make you feel good.
I
But
don't see it. I don't see it this year, and I would love to see it. I would love to see them win 20 in a row and become somebody. And they could do it. We got the same guys, but they're all half hurt. The other ones are too old or too young, or for whatever reason have lost their edge. Which in baseball you can get back so quickly. What happened to that guy? He couldn't hit home plate with the bat. Nope. Well, now look at him. He's all better. What did he do? We'll never know.
and we don't need to know. We just, you leave it to the mystery of the gods, right?
True.
As we go back and we talk about,
And ask Vin Scully. The gods can be cruel. The
but
gods
they
can
can
be
be awful
cruel.
good. The gods can be cruel, but they can be good.
Like Jim Gilliam never liked the nickname Junior. Hated the nickname Junior Gilliam. So guess what they call him his whole career?
Junior,
Junior.
yeah, yeah. Willie Davis. I just thought I'd mention that name.
I love Willie Davis and Tommie Davis were on the same team,
Willie
left
and
field and
Tommie
center
Davis.
field. And I loved to watch, as much as I hated the Dodgers, I loved to watch Willie Davis run from first to third. My God, it was like what they called him. Vin Scully didn't call him Willie Davis. He called him the 3 dog. He wore number 3, and it was like watching the Greyhounds race at Tan Ferran or something. The 3 dog. Who else would even know what that means in today's broadcasts?
Right now, I
And
wonder
the 3
if
dog.
now, by some bizarre chance, did Tommie Davis bat behind Willie Davis?
I don't know if they were back to back in the lineup. They had to be sooner or later.
Because I would always think that you would want one brother chasing the other around the bases.
Willie had power, but not the power of not the consistent threat that Tommie posed.
Yeah.
I think I bet Tommie 3rd or 4th, and I bet Willie 6th or 7th.
Now, was it Tommie that came to the Mets or Willie? Tommie came to the Mets.
Tommie did, yeah.
Tommie in 67, I think.
At the end of his career.
Yeah, 67, 68, something like that. He was a Met for a year at least, maybe 2. As a matter of fact, I wonder. I'm thinking now, did he retire or did they trade him? Because I remember Tommy Davis and Tommy Agee, I think, got there at the same time.
Wow. You know, you just brought up something that I read about Vin Scully that is so extraordinary. Was, of course, we can say he was lucky because he had a great amount of luck in his career to be in the right place at the right time and to make the most of it. And he had all this talent. But think of the guys who he called. He started his career with Jackie Robinson and Pee Wee Reese.
Yep.
Now that's a career all in itself. And then Johnny Padres, and then Don Drysdale, and Sandy Koufax, and then the guys that I hated the most, Say at third, Russell at short, Lopes at second, and Garvey at first.
$1 million infield.
Think of those guys. I know the Dodger infield from those years, and I don't even like to say their names. And that's the guy that Vinnie called every day. Fernando Valenzuela, Oral Hershiser, Kershaw, and all the guys around him right now.
Yeah.
What do you do to measure the greatness that he marshaled in his 67 years of calling the balls and strikes?
And I would have to say, I'm probably wrong on this, as I am on many things, but I would have to say that he never offended any one of them.
I bet you'd have to really be easily bent out of shape to have Vinny offend you.
Yeah, you'd have to look long and hard to find a story that said that Vince Scully said something on the air that, and it's like that with most, but the old school play-by-play guys never,
Hey,
they work for the club.
He was not above saying, folks, the Dodgers don't seem to have it tonight.
Right. Right. No doubt about that. It's not,
Because
it's not a
he
great
knew,
night here in Chavez Ravine.
and he knew that that's the way baseball treats you. That you can't, the night before you win 9-0, the next day you can't turn a double play. And that's why the game humbles people who thought they knew how to play it.
Yeah, it was, yeah, he did. He really did, really did, you think about just the amount, I mean, Campanella,
Yeah.
Gil Hodges,
Yeah.
he probably broadcast.
Wally Moon.
I wonder, it'd be interesting to see who do you think broadcast more Hall of Famers? Vince Scully? Or, I don't know, let's say Mel Allen with the Yankees.
I was thinking of Mel Allen, but I don't know how many years Mel worked for the Yankees, because it's pretty hard to stack up anybody against 67 years of experience.
Yeah, that's true.
Was Mel there 10 years? Probably.
Yeah, probably, maybe more than that. But I mean, he was there for the 10
big ones.
Fertile years of the Yankees. I mean, you talk about a franchise that consistently every year had, put out 8 Hall of Famers.
And they would keep guys that would be starting in baseball down in their minor league teams and go out and buy another outfielder, go out and buy another pitcher, go out and get involved. Not as much in the old days as now, but now you can count on the Yankees and the Dodgers, and I guess the Padres have to be on that list now, who will take the opportunity to improve themselves. And the fans want it. Baseball likes it and they enjoy it, but it doesn't always work, as we have discovered. Bringing in a big bat and a young player with unlimited power, on paper, it looks great, but you can't play baseball for very long on paper. Somebody's got to go out there and actually perform.
Yeah, going back to Tommy Davis for a second. Yeah, it was just with the Mets 1 year, and they traded him to the White Sox. So maybe they actually traded him for Tommy Agee, because I think that's where Agee came from. And
Tommy Davis on the White Sox, boy, I don't remember that.
Yep. Yep, Tommy Davis on the White Sox. He finished out his career. Let's see, 68 he was with the White Sox. 69. Uh, he went to Houston. He went to Oakland.
Wow.
Yeah, he played for the Dodgers from 59 to 66. Then he was traded to the Mets, then to the White Sox. Uh, and he was with the Seattle Pilots after the White Sox.
Whoa. Now there's a rarity.
Yeah. And it took me a second because I was looking at it, it said Sepp, and I was thinking, Sepp, who the heck is Sepp? That hit the Seattle Pilots. Houston,
where they-
Oakland, Cubs, Oakland, Chicago Cubs again, Baltimore.
Wow.
California wound up with the Kansas City Royals.
Must have been doing some DHing.
Yeah. And Tommy Davis, unfortunately, Michael, I just noticed this. We missed this. Passed away April 3rd, 2022 in
Wow.
Phoenix, Arizona. Left fielder and third baseman. Was born in Brooklyn, New York. Attended Boys High School in Brooklyn, a school that I know well.
So he knows what a Dodger is, a real Dodger.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, think about it. When he was growing up, the Dodgers were the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah.
You
better be quick on your feet or these trains will run you down.
Yeah, he was born in 39, so 49 would have made him 10. 16. Yeah, I mean, he probably went to Ebbets Field as a kid.
I hope so.
Snuck
That was
in
great.
or stood outside in the knothole gang. Tommy Davis, probably up there hanging with
With Willie Davis.
a number of great Dodgers, and with Vince Scully.
Yep.
Now gets to talk. I wonder. I thought this yesterday.
Old timer games in heaven.
Yeah, really. Well, the Mets are bringing back their old timers day. They hadn't had it for years, and all of a sudden it's coming back. The Yankees just had theirs. Did you like Old Timers Day?
I did because it just seemed to be an interesting part of history. It wasn't, and I wanted them to get hits. Come on, get a hit, put one out of here. But that's not what they're about. It's bringing the guys back. I remember what it's like. You don't have old timers games in football, but you have like halftime ceremonies. And you say, what? Where are all the guys that we used to watch who the 49ers and Keys are? And they said, see the guys limping? That's them.
They ought to
That's
make
them.
them up and play a quarter.
Suit up and make a couple tackles.
So this is interesting. So the Dodgers traded Tommy Agee along with Darrell Griffith to the Mets for Jim Hickman
Whoa.
and Ron Hunt.
Wow. They weren't done with Hunt. He came to the Giants right after that.
Yeah, and Hunt, as many know, for many years was the most hit player, hit by pitch player, had the record for the most hit by pitches in baseball. And then I remember this. I was right. December 15th, 1967, he played 1 year with the Mets, was traded by the Mets with Buddy Booker, Fat Jack Fisher, and Billy Wynn to the Chicago White Sox for Tommy Agee and Al Weiss,
Wow.
both who played integral parts
They brought in some talent.
in the 1969 World Series. Then he was drafted in '68 by the Pilots, and went on for that. Trying to see if he was traded for any other big names. No, other than that, signs a free agent. Well, he was traded in '72 by the Cubs to the Orioles for Elrod Hendricks.
Oh,
It's a pretty.
can you imagine playing for the Yankees and ending up in Baltimore?
I think it used to happen a lot. I think there was a
They sort
number
of sent him
guys.
down there when they were done with him.
Yeah, I think there was I think I know that they're probably the Yankees' biggest trading partner because they called it the Yankees farm team in the '60s.
Yes,
Was
they
the
did.
A's. Uh,
They supplied a whole lineup to them. They would have done more, but the league stopped them.
Charlie Finley just would just cash out on his players, man. They'd send, CBS would send money to Kansas City, and Kansas City would send baseball players up.
Hey, I got a guy named Catfish Hunter for you get him for a song. What do you want? What do you got? What am I bid?
Yeah, I mean, well, Catfish signed as a free agent though, didn't he?
It's possible,
Was it Maris that they got that was maybe the biggest name that they got from Kansas City?
without a doubt. I was talking about Oakland
Oh, Oakland. Yeah,
being
yeah,
cherry picked.
yeah. Oh, yeah, Oakland. Well, Charlie Finley, man, he had no problem.
I don't know if the league would do
Money.
that. The league now stepping in. In fact, we talked about Deshaun Watson. His official punishment is a suspension of 6 games, but the league has appealed it and said that's not enough.
Right.
And so it's nice to know, Mr. Watson, that the league thinks that you haven't been punished enough. Your team thinks you've been punished too much, and the people involved are just waiting for their check.
Which leads me to believe, and we talked about this the other day, that there's some there.
And there is some there. The league knows more.
Yeah, the league investigates these things much deeper than the police do. I mean, their security department goes out there and knows. They know.
Well, as you know, in professional sports, you can get the official version. What happened? No, 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 no. Okay, good. That's a fine story. Now tell me what happened.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, you know what? It shows me something that the league is willing to, take arguably one of their big stars. But as we know, Michael, how many women watch football?
A lot.
I mean, it's, and I know this for a fact because Pittsburgh has the largest number of women fans of any NFL franchise. More women percentage of fans of Steeler fans than any other franchise. I would probably put the Seahawks close on that list.
Yeah.
A ton, and so, unlike politics, it's not a good idea to piss off an entire sex that is upset, and hopefully piss off some men too. For this short suspension.
And also the chance that the Browns are taking on this guy who hasn't played it down for them yet. It doesn't look like it's going to end well. And the Browns have only themselves to blame for this. They don't have the backup that they require in a situation like this.
All I can say is he better be good, and he better be repentant. And I'll go with repentant over good. But the reality is, Mikey, he got his payday already. I mean, really, if you think about it, he doesn't have to do anything. He got
I bet Cleveland could get out of the deal on morals charges.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, who knows how these contracts are constructed these days? You'd think that they could, but don't always play out like that.
We're running out of time. You want to briefly talk about Brittney Griner for those who haven't heard?
Yes, Brittney has been sentenced to 9.5 years in a Russian jail. That doesn't sound like,
Doesn't sound like it's over to me.
right, in what appears to be a cell that's way too small for her.
Oh yeah, intentionally.
Seems like for some reason, there are a lot of tall people.
Not that
She's
tall.
going to come out of this thing with curvature of the spine at the very least. Obviously, a huge sentence. But again, the message is very simple. We don't allow drugs in this country. You may think, the United States may think it's great and wonderful and happy to be able to go run in the streets and smoke cannabis and do what you do, but here it's a different story. And if you don't respect that, we'll make you suspended, will make you know what's going on. I feel sorry for her. I mean, the line is, well, I was packing and I forgot and I put the medically prescribed
Yeah.
vials in there. And
No, in fact, it was in her luggage the whole time she was in Russia. All she had to do was throw it away and dispose of it before she went to the airport. So I'm sorry for Brittney because she stepped in it and now she's being made an example of. And that's not the place you want to be made an example of.
right, and
They
now,
don't think jail is anything that we think jail is about. They think jail is about punishment every moment you're there.
right, the food sucks. The recreation is not well. Is not a lot, and you don't get to sit in the yard and party with people. You get to
Conditions are shitty and you can't stand up in your cell.
yeah. It serves as a warning to anybody else that's going to go over there and think that it was funny because they in reading the story, her team, she'd played on a team, she wanted to go back to her team for the playoffs, and she was, I guess, advised or told, don't go.
She
I mean,
went.
sometimes you just don't go to a hostile country because, again, whether you're a sports star or not, you, they're going to find out there's going to be trouble. And now the United States is going to have to put some scumbag on the street again because they'll do this deal to get her and the other guy, I forget his name at the moment, out of jail and back to the United States. But we're going to put a guy that's that's a bad dude.
Show him the tape of Al Wahiri. She say, we're going to let you go. My advice is don't drive around in your car any place that a Hellfire missile can find you.
I know, but how long can we keep doing that?
We got a lot of Hellfires.
Yeah. I mean,
You got him back. We didn't say he'd live forever. You got him back. What are you complaining about?
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the plan. I don't know, really. I guess if he stays in Russia, you wouldn't do that. Which, if he was smart, he'd probably stay in Russia.
You're right. That would never happen within the borders.
Right. We did that because we could flatten.
But when he goes to Bimini or Shpolpakia, the gloves are off.
Gloves are off if he's in Shpolpakia because they have a matter of fact, Shpolpakia has a policy that says that even if somebody didn't do a crime and you want them in your country, we'll give them to you.
Yeah. The
We'll extradite them for you.
The motto for Shpolpakia is "Who's to say?"
Who knows? Talk to us. We're for sale.
And how's your day going in Shpolpakia?
Oh, absolutely
Shpolpakia.
funky.
We're the Shpolpakians, by the way. Hello.
Hello, Shpolpakia. Yeah, we got to do it. We got to do a Shpolpakia show at some point soon. We got to update people.
I think they need a north-south highway. They got 66 and 66A, and I think they need a third. Well, I can't call it a road. Let's call it a street. Would it be too much to put in one more street?
How about the PCH? No, the PSH, the Pacific Shpolpakia Highway.
It would be PS.
Yes, I said PSH.
Okay, got your PSH. The Pan Shpolpakia Highway.
The Shpolpakia, the PSH.
And where does it go? It goes from right over there to right over there.
Goes up there to down there. Not north and south.
No, from there to there.
And down. You're either going upbound or downbound.
It's easier when you see it in person. Shpolpakia is sort of an up-down place.
Yeah, not north and south. It's up and down. That's how you travel north and south.
Don't tell them that you're looking for a place to live up here because they'll know you're from down there.
Right, exactly. You have to say, I'm just looking for a place. Where you from? Up.
Shpolpakia.
Up Shpolpakia.
It's like you're giving a command to a lion named Shpolpakia. Up Shpolpakia.
Oh my God.
They don't have any lions in Shpolpakia, not anymore.
How far weak minds can wander.
Hey, Just so you know, we're special on Thursdays, but there are Shpolpakia updates every week. So if you don't know what's going on in Shpolpakia, send a message. We'll give you the update.
It's the Shpolpakia News brought to you by, what's his name? Carter
Shpolpakia.
Carter Shpolpakia.
That's how it all started.
How this whole thing started.
You wouldn't say his last name. You just said Carter Shpolpakia. And from Shpolpakia came Shpolpakia.
Oh my God.
Shall we do one for our Freaky Friday? What do you say?
Yes, let's do one because we haven't even touched on Alex Jones.
I don't want to directly touch him. He is one sick. He's one sick dude. He looked like a 6-year-old on the stand yesterday. He was so ill prepared.
Yeah, think of this question overnight, Mikey. How in the world does this guy have the #1 podcast?
How does he make $800,000 a day selling miracle cures?
How in the world is this? Is this really where the country is? If it is, it's pretty freaking scary.
He's been apparently misguided and out of place with reality since he was in high school, where his friends, if you saw the CNN special on his life, said Alex was one very dark person in high school. And he said he would go to this dark place and become the dark place, and it was frightening to see.
Well, that's great. So now we have potential school shooters as radio podcast hosts.
Yes.
They can having their own network and making $800,000 a day.
And
Why should anybody when you can do when you can just rake the money in?
And general managers of stations in Washtukna and Wenatchee will play them all day long and twice on Saturdays.
Yeah, you can hear conspiracy theories. You can. Matter of fact, Alex on Friday for his Freaky Fractious Friday, he has the conspiracy theory wheel. He just spins that sucker, and he come up with a conspiracy theory for agriculture. Agriculture. All right. How about the farmers who have conspired to knock the government, which they don't trust anyway, out of the corn business?
And they brought the bees from Mars. Those are not American bees. Those are Martian
Mars bees. The Russians are coming after us. I'm telling you, they're bringing the
and we're helping them. We're helping them every day. Those bees that don't belong here, we know they don't belong on this planet. We're helping them every day to take over the agricultural product of the Soviet Union in America.
All right.
You know this is true.
In Washtukna, you're up. What's your conspiracy? Spin the wheel.
Washtukna, hello.
Well, how come the milkshakes have disappeared from the little gas station in Washtukna?
We still have the chocolate. We just ran out of the gravel we used to put into them.
Yeah, how did that happen? Why did that happen? Well, you see, the Hershey Company has said that they will no longer deliver syrup to Washtukna on order of, believe it or not, Tom Foley, the former Speaker of the House, who passed away many years ago, but
that's his
still
thing.
Active in central Washington politics.
He has a lot of influence as a dead man.
The guy that you voted out because you didn't like him, but didn't realize that you would lose the speakership of the House when you did that.
I thought it came with the office. No, not so much.
As a desk, a chair, and a flag. That's
if you go to Bon Marché, you get a gift with purchase, but it ain't like that in politics, okay? And plus, look at the gift you got with your purchase. It's in a little bag with a bunch of paper, and there's nothing in there really.
You got a bunch of airline tickets and some vouchers to hire some staff.
Now today is Free Ticket Thursday. Now we give away real things, real free tickets that are to nothing in particular.
Right. You leave your email address in our Facebook thing, and we'll send you a free ticket.
Tell us what show you want to go to. Not that it matters.
No, no, Mike, you don't go there because then people will say, well, you mentioned show and it's just a free ticket.
Just a free ticket. There's no show.
It's a free ticket. It's not good for anything. It's just free.
And it's not bad for you particularly. You can save a whole stack of free tickets around the house, and the cats can get into them, and it won't make any difference.
Matter of fact, the cats could poo on them, and it might be good. You print them out,
And if they do, it's really not our fault. We can't control where your cats poo. They would have pooed probably if we hadn't sent you the free ticket. But more free tickets if they do poo on them.
Save money on
Cat litter.
cat litter. Mikey,
Shall we see each other tomorrow at 10:10?
see you tomorrow. Exactly 24 hours or 23 hours and 40 and 53 minutes from right now.
Well, that gives time for the creek to rise. I hope that doesn't happen.
Well, it seems to be happening in a lot of places right now, unfortunately. So,
Hey, it's kind of coming up kind of high in Kansas too, isn't it? Hello, GOP. How you doing over there?
man, yeah, we'll be a little more political tomorrow. We wanted to get that Vin stuff in, and yeah, but there's a lot going on. I tell you what, if I'm a Republican, I don't mention the word abortion or women's rights or anything like that the rest of the year.
Too late. It's too late. Just wait till you see the ads on TV.
Oh no, we got him running here already with they have this Trump acolyte that's running for Senate against Patty Murray.
Oh, good.
Tiffany something. Tiffany's I don't know.
Tiffany Delight. I remember her.
Tiffany Delight, and she's a solid Trumper. Maybe you go on her website, and I think the first thing on there is I don't believe that Donald Trump lost the election or something like that. So
It's funny how much I do believe that he did lose it. Isn't that amazing?
yeah,
How,
well, you
how
know
people
what?
can have different
The thing is-
beliefs.
The great thing is she's like 30 points behind Patty Murray.
More to come.
So if you're smart, I mean, send Patty Murray a few bucks if you want to, but here's the guy you want to send a few bucks to because
Fetterman,
because this is turning into an interesting race.
just win, baby.
He's still, I think, 20 points ahead of Oz, though.
Oh yeah, he'll stay there. He'll hold that lead.
People in Pennsylvania, one thing I got to say about him, man, among many good things, is they know a stinker when they see it.
That's such a funny word. It's a stinker.
It's a
Hey, I remember one of my favorite moments at Candlestick Park was Jeff Kent being introduced as a Dodger after playing many years with the Giants. And it was quiet in the stadium. Number 5, Jeff Kent. And someone yelled, "You stink!" It just echoes right across the stadium. It just echoes. And everybody heard it. And it was wonderful. They didn't say F you or no. It's in baseball, there's nothing worse than being a stinker. You stink.
You stink. You're a stinker. Oh, forget it. That's bad. That is bad. All right, man.
See you tomorrow. Vanilla.
I'll see you tomorrow morning if the Lord's will and the creek don't rise. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, Mikey.
What a wine. What a wine. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, man. And we'll see all of you tomorrow, right here. Same bat time, same bat channel.